guys have done. And your decorator is Elizabeth Goldsby. Was that
Yes.
my thing? Yeah. Yeah. I can I can understand like how different you want to make the spaces, but I'm also wondering about timing and like how much prep time you guys had because I'm assuming you had to rent out these spaces. You probably didn't have that much time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the lucky part was that we had access to the salons like fairly early. Like both of the salon spaces were completely empty. Like we did the flooring, we did everything. And uh yeah, there's a sad piece of tape in this photo.
Uh, don't focus
I,
on that.
I I'm like so anal. I like have all these. I mean, people have worked with me know I'm like crazy about marking stuff and covering stuff up. So it's always really hard to get good photos that don't have something.
I
Um,
I know.
but yeah, like this space, I want to say we had like a couple, maybe 2 weeks
Mm.
ahead of time. And so yeah, like we brought in the flooring, the shelving unit is all built. And then we did the wallpaper. I think we actually kept the like some, did we? Oh,
Was
it's
the
so funny how
seat
you
there?
forgot these.
The window
What?
seat? Was the window seat there?
That notch was there, but we did the
Mm.
upholstery and everything. And we brought in the chandelier. Basically none of this was there. There were like the spots for the bulbs along the window, but there weren't rods. Yeah, it was a pretty raw space. And we got to leave a lot of it, which was nice. That we
So it was
didn't
good
have
for
to
someone.
demo it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't even know if anyone's going in there now, but yeah, I think that we really liked, I think one of the reasons we chose this space was just sort of like that arched kind of like high ceiling felt like it gave us a lot of room, and like there was this mirrored wall, and at first I wasn't really sure what to do with it, but then when I was looking at that Kate Somerville book, I was like, oh, she has this built-in shelving in front of a mirror. And Chris Ripley, the DP, is like such a gem, and he was the kind of DP who was like, yes, more mirrors, yes, more glass.
Oh, I
Like it
love
was
that.
never a problem.
I
Like he
love
was
more
always
mirrors.
excited by the challenge. And so it also just like allowed for a lot of like really amazing shots and stuff like that to see Hope's reflection and other characters. Um, but yeah, I guess what I was saying originally was that like this window just felt like such a great place for her to look out.
Yeah.
Um, and and then also we were really excited that the shimmer window had these like amazing plants in front of it. So it already kind of had the like beginning of kind of that like bangers
Right.
palm look.
You guys also did a ton of work with like over on the wall, all of the graphics and making it,
Oh
the
yeah.
print ads and everything. And like when the guy's like, how did he get your face? She's in magazines. She's been photographed. It was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This was like a pretty small art department for how much we did. And Mochi on did all of those graphics, and it was really important to me that they were super time accurate. So I again poured over, Glamour and Cosmopolitan and like magazines of that time and sort of like the fonts and the color palettes and the layouts. And she did a really amazing job of
Yeah.
that. And then we sprinkled in some selfies that Elizabeth had. But Austin was really excited about that wall. It was always really important. Or I think like I
Your
can't
brag
remember
wall.
how it was in the script, but it wasn't scripted to be like this wall of press. But I always thought that that felt really um
Well, that's what there is. There's
important.
all like
Yeah.
doctors' offices like who do any sort of like filler or anything, they always have stuff there.
Yeah, totally.
Always.
And
Maybe that's just an LA thing. I don't know.
no, yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe. But it also just felt like a really great place to put Hope, like in front of all of this,
Yeah, because you even
stuff
see it in
about
the
her.
back here
Yeah.
when they're shooting through all the windows and everything. She's in that window a lot looking over.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, and then
Oh
such a
yeah, this is
contrast
a
for her.
not a totally completely dress set photo.
I only picked this because of the red. Just wanted to talk about why you chose to give her red in her home.
Well, I wanted her home to feel really dated, like that she renovated it in like trying to remember actually like the exact year that I had sort of hold on one sec.
It's a great location too. I mean, the
Oh,
house is like you
we
see from the
like
front to the
thought
back.
so hard for this
Oh,
location. Sorry, just give me one sec because
yeah.
you
I
think you remember all of this stuff, but then
don't know. It's
um
it's like I don't remember when my kids did it 6 months old. Like I was like, do 6 months
um
do that? Like I don't remember.
oh, yeah, I guess like so I again like I was saying before, like I wanted this idea that Hope's places feel more dated, and so that like she had spent money to kind of have like an interior designer renovate her house in 2009 when she was like making a lot of money and like just had kind of been divorced, and then like now it feels really kind of passe or dated. And I was really inspired by watching old episodes of The Hills.
Yeah.
Like I think I want to say maybe it's Audrina's house or Lo Bosworth's house. One of their houses had this like, kind of these like dark woods and like really chunky furniture. Um, and also watching a lot of like old Real Housewives of Orange County, and what their houses
Oh,
look like. And then looking through kind of like Arch Digest from around then, this was like really the look. Like these like this kind of horrible color red and like just really stark. And I like that it feels like super cold. Like
yeah.
I remember like the set deck team was like, "Do you want life layers?" I was like, "No, she has no life layers. Like this is a woman who like maybe her bag is like on the kitchen counter, but there's nothing else. Like she is." And it's funny, like watching the movie, I'm like, she really looks like a psycho
Yes,
in
yes.
this home. But yeah, so we fought really hard for this location. This was probably the hardest location to find. We had an amazing location manager, Mike Percival, who was just like had the best eye and was great. And he found this house, and like I think we had to like rearrange a lot of the schedule to do it, but we were like, we have to shoot there. And it had this red column. And I was like,
Oh wow.
done. And then basically we gutted everything else from it. And even like the kitchen counter in the back, like we treated that. Like that was, I think it was some kind of, I think it was like a travertine marble or something. And I was like, this looks so current, like we have to cover it. So we made it just like a stark white. Which luckily made it in the movie. I was like, if we spent all the money and time to do that, I'd feel really bad. But yeah,
That's
this is like one of my favorite locations. I like super, super love it.
was the mirror there?
Yes, the mirror was there too, which was really exciting. And
Oh,
actually, it never really makes it in the movie. You can kind of see it in the reflection, but the dining area also has like a mirror behind the built-in shelving. So it
hmm.
just felt like it really like brought in elements of like Hope's salon and then also just like certain themes and like visual ideas we wanted in the movie. And
Oh,
even like you can see it, there's this one cool shot, you can see it in the movie, but her like kind of Pilates room that
yeah.
you see like that even has kind of the wall mirror. So it just like keeps showing up places.
I don't think I have that. I had this. This should have been before that,
Oh,
but
who
just
cares?
going back to the
You're gonna
salon
edit.
of like her workspace and how much detail you guys put into it. And
Yeah. Well, also I had found these images. Now it's kind of funny with like Brat Green, even though this isn't Brat Green, but I found these images of I think it's Kate Somerville.
mm,
There's like a part of her space that's very like Buddha Zen garden and had this like really crazy color green on the walls. And I loved the idea that like Hope's um like, you know, her treatment room kind of had this different color and felt like we were in a different space. And so kind of it like ties in a bit to the front with like the silvers and the metallics, but there is kind of like a different feeling when you're in there. And it was really important to Austin and to me to like be really accurate with all the like things that she's doing in there and the things she has. So we
Yeah.
worked with um an esthetician that Austin knows who came in on those days. And then also just like we used some equipment from her and consulted with her about what should be in there. So there's really like, there's always one or two things that are just decorative, but like really the stuff in there is stuff that she needs to do treatments. I also really loved this blanket that Elizabeth Goldsby found for like on the bed. I feel like it's just like the
Satin.
perfect shade and like, texture. So yeah, this space was really fun. And again, this was like just like a kind of open back room that we did a
Well,
lot of work to.
there's many. First of all, I feel like I just felt my face like the whole time I was watching this of like, I need that. I need facial right now. And then like something like this when you're like, did they go to a salon because it looks like exactly like when you go to the back room and it's like one person's space and like so I was like
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I also like that was one thing that Austin and I connected over because like I'm very into getting facials. Like I have a facialist and I've been seeing her for years, religiously. And so when I was we like immediately and Austin has gotten facials, so like he knows what that experience is like. And so it was really important to me to get those things right. Like I feel like even when we were consulting with the esthetician we worked with, like I was like, well, we need this thing, right? And she's
yeah.
like, yeah. And my facialist, that's actually where I got the inspiration for those curtains and like the back shelving. That's what my facialist has, so that like she can like cover that up, but then also kind of reveal all the stuff back there when she's working.
Right. When the people
Um,
have the goggles on, then she like
yeah,
takes
yeah.
out stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like that to me is like why I think like I was so drawn to being like a production designer is I just like pay way too much attention to
Everybody's rooms.
spaces and what people are, the things people have when I go to new spaces. So I feel like, yeah, I kind of have like a photographic memory for that stuff,
That
which is
that's always
helpful.
helpful. That's always helpful. I loved, are those curtains like a leather or a rubber? What were
These are actually like fringe,
oh,
like
it's
a
fringe.
like a
The texture,
thread.
oh, thread.
It's
It's
funny because in the
great.
sound design of the movie, it sounds like they have weight to them, but they're actually kind of lightweight
Yeah.
fringe.
I
And
was
that was actually sorry to
oh
interrupt
no.
you. That was actually Elizabeth Goldsby idea was to use a curtain like that. And I really think it worked well.
I this is to me, I just am like, oh my God, it's like Miami Vice, but new and fresh. Like I love it. It's
Well,
so
I think too that like I feel like we wanted to really feel the difference between like and these are all things that kind of came out through my collaboration with Austin. They weren't really like on the page. Was like Hope when you show up to the Hope Goldman skincare, like what happens there. You're getting a facial, like you can like see the tools of the trade. You can see her press. But like when you go into Shimmer by Angel and when like Hope first sees it, you have no idea what this thing is. Like it just looks like a weird storefront. Like they could be selling weed back there, they could
yeah.
be selling like a myriad of things. And I feel like that to me like is very emblematic too of the time period. Like I feel like that's when there first started being a lot of these storefronts in LA, like a
And you didn't know what
heyday
it
for
was.
yeah.
And it just is like a
Yeah.
really cool like color or like bright white or like something that like caught your eye. But I don't
Yeah,
know
it's like all about branding, but not about the product.
they're all
Uh,
gone by now too.
I
Stay
feel like in my neighborhood in Silver, like there are a lot of these things that
still.
it's just like, they're like those small franchises and you don't know what the hell it is, but they have like one word names that are appealing on Instagram.
Very, very LA. And then
Yeah.
here's his house, which I laughed out loud. All of a sudden, she like follows him home because she thinks he's stalking her, and then he's just at home like belting it out on a personalized karaoke machine. It's like fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, this scene is like really wild. Yeah, I think that like we again, like I was looking at a lot of like Arch Digest and stuff and like what kind of like the height of cool in 2013 like interiors was, which was a lot of these jewel tones and
Yeah.
like dark leathers, animal print, that kind of thing. And I think we really wanted his space to feel like a club.
Yeah.
Like I feel like some of these things don't really show up in the movie, but like really excited me. Like for instance, there's like a bathroom right here that we like literally took the door off of and put um like bead chain curtain on. So it's like if he had like a guest over, he could like watch them in the bathroom.
My God.
Um, and
I
just
wish they showed that.
I
I did not
know
catch
there was
that.
honestly we had such limited. We also fought really hard for this location, and like there was so much that had to happen there, like stunts, etc. So
Yeah.
it was just and doing that whole like we literally shot him performing that entire Cure song, and so like we just ran out of time there. There's so much we could have done. But like even I think you see it in the movie, but like he has a disco ball like in his living room. Like I love this idea that this guy just like
Goes home and like
yeah.
that's how he relaxes. He
Yeah. And also just that there's like a lot going. I mean, it's interesting. Like I feel like it's very intentional in the movie that you don't actually know that much about a lot of these other characters because Hope is so self-obsessed, you know? But like
right.
Angel's like really going through it. Like we even have like here, which didn't make it in the movie, but he had like a photo of his ex-boyfriend he like turns over and like
Mm,
he's just kind of this heartbroken guy who like doesn't know who Hope is and doesn't care.
right.
Um, yeah, and I think that was really exciting to me and like my art director, Jake Tremblay, who I worked with on Marcel the Shell and is a longtime collaborator who I love. Like a lot of the characters in this movie are queer and kind of like exploring like the queerness of their spaces. And so I think that was a fun thing with Angel, was just to kind of like a lot of his art is like kind of homoerotic. And we had a really good time with that.
I too, I mean, the lighting in these scenes is great, and the reflective of like on those pillows or like in the walls, and like it's because it does look like a big disco in there. It looks like
Yeah.
having a party.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Fun.
I we were so obsessed with this little pink lamp that um Elizabeth Goldsby found, and in the stunt it broke.
Yeah.
But somehow it like made it through all the important shots, but that was a rental, so that kind of sucked. But it's like I feel like it's a real star in the movie, kind
Yeah.
of like makes the room. Um
Pops.
yeah, a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
I love the rug too.
Yeah, the rug is great. I feel like it really pulls it all together.
Another really great location of see you get such depth when she's walking in or they're walking in through the house and he's in this back room. Like that's a storytelling of like her like creeping in to see like what's going on. It's like a
Right.
great location.
Yeah. No,
And
it
then
was
she
super exciting. And we were just really excited by all these locations, like her house and his house kind of having like a lot of glass. Like I love the idea that her home, like she feels like very visible to the public in it, you know, and same with Angel.
I I have shades and shears. I don't show's over. At like 7 o'clock at night, at like almost every day I go, show's over. I shut all the like I'm done, people.
Yeah, I am like hardcore into privacy too. I like never have like a bare window. I
Yeah.
feel like it's a real luxury, honestly. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, I couldn't have a big bare window like that. I couldn't do it. Um, how's this? Your morning show.
oh yeah, the morning show. Um, I mean, I feel like it's pretty straightforward. We also hunted for this location a lot to find, this is basically a standing set, but find
Mm,
something that felt true to the time and also
yeah.
um, you know, not but ugly in the wrong way.
Yeah. But reads as like the generic of this time period, and also the lucite is perfect.
Yeah, no, I feel like in materials wise, it's like very in the world of the movie. We were like really pleased when we found this.
Yeah.
Um,
What a what odd scenes follow this. It's like it's really good. And then I love this little set of like just a
I
character.
know, I feel like this has turned out to be one. I mean, I think that I just have a niche or like obsession with office, like real people's offices. I don't know. I feel like those are always my favorite sets. Um,
I love that he's got like a tooth back there, or like what,
Well,
or
so
like
this
the ants on the
location,
wall.
a lot of the weird things in here were there, and we're like,
Oh.
great. I feel like, you know, so much of my job, or I feel like uh the best part of my job is just getting a lot of time to location scout and finding great places and then making, elevating them to like the world of the movie. But like this was one of those spaces that we found were like, great. This this probably needed the least work from us of every location in the movie. Like there's like, getting rid of stuff that doesn't apply and then adding on like 20%. But
Right.
it was just a great room.
Yeah, that guy was good in this. He had a good.
Well, what's funny is I'm almost positive I should look this up before I put my foot in my mouth, but I think he's in Emily the Criminal, and Austin loved him in that. He's like in the first scene of the movie, but he's so good in it. And so I think that that was one of the reasons that Austin really wanted him in this.